Right. So, what we discussed in the previous about the Guidewire, uh, even data model, we discussed even that. At the same time, we discussed about the attributes part, right? So that is all something that we have covered. Uh, and today, this is a design, especially from the functional and technical point of view of the Guidewire. Because Guidewire, we have three modules. Of course, our focus is majorly on the policy center front. But from the developmental perspective, one should understand the functional as well as the technical aspect of the Guidewire application. Functional part we have already gone through anyway, because we need to create a submission of the policies. Right? So at the same time, any new product we want to develop, all that will be part of the product model. Anyway, that I already told you earlier. If you remember this one, okay, the product model part, I already told you that. Next is
Yes.
about the product model, majorly to develop any new product. We are coming up with any new product, etc. So the product model is important. Means any customization that we are doing by combining commercial auto, personal auto for any customer, the product we have to design, followed by uh, what are all the coverages that are involved in it. Everything will be part of product model. That is one thing. From the functional design point of view, I'm referring this. Second, about the rating part. Rating anyway that you are aware of, because when there is any application submission has taken place, so based on the risk which is involved, so we need to provide rating for that. This is all will be part of rating anyway that you are knowing. Okay, rating configurations, right? So rating understanding over the rating rules. This is all part of the rating. So based on the rating, based on the modifiers, if there is any modifiers changes that we have made, so based on that rating will be calculated by the rating engine. Finally we get the quotation. This is all part of rating. The third one about the underwriting part. Underwriting all about the risk assessment, etc. Everything will be part of underwriting. Next, functional part, even claim handling. Claim handling, everything will be part of claim center. Billing will be comes under the billing part. So this is all the functional part of the application for any Guidewire, especially in context to the Guidewire application suite. Generally, application suite or insurance suite is combination of all the three: policy center, billing, and as well as claims. Now, when it comes to the technical design is concerned, okay, technical design is concerned, we will be having these things. Please make a note. Technical design, please make a note. Technical design, please make a note. Technical design of the Guideware application. Technical design of Guideware application
Okay.
consists of consists of GX data model, GX
Okay.
data model, GX data
Okay.
model, includes GOSU code, includes GOSU code,
Okay.
as well as integrations, as well as integrations,
Okay.
as well as integrations. Okay. Now,
Yes.
what GX model is majorly for? Okay, GX data model. What GX data model is all about? Okay,
Okay.
GX data model. GX means Guidewire X. X means XML. Okay, Guidewire XML. I can say. Okay, GX data model is
What is
majorly
X for, Raj?
X means XML. Guidewire XML.
Okay. Okay.
X means X
Excellent.
because whatever the file formats that we follow, everything will be in the XML format, XML or JSON file formats.
Mhm.
So Guidewire XML model is a kind of legacy tool, is a kind of legacy tool which is used to which is used to define
Hmm.
which is used to define
Okay.
and managing the design and managing the structure of XML data, structure of XML data
Okay.
specifically for
Hmm.
specifically for integration with external systems, integrations with XML systems, right? Comma continuation, right? In what way this is used for the guideware developer? Okay, this is your question. Okay, maybe, right? So this is end of the day why GX data model is being used. In what way, being a guideware developer, I am related. Okay, this can be your
Hmm.
question. Okay, so comma continuation as a developer, this is used to create. This is to create. Otherwise, this is to create. This is to create. Uh, this is to create custom XML models. Custom XML models, because when we develop the application, we need to develop different data models, etc. So the file formats can be of anything. Okay, so Guideware custom XML models, to create custom XML models, which
Hmm.
contains which contains required required
Hmm.
data subsets, which required data subsets for specific integration, for specific integration points. Otherwise, you can write
Okay.
for uh, specific integration points. Okay. Now, generally, when we try to understand about GX model, which is one of the legacy tool, maybe because for olden time, because what happening, some organizations, if you see the present condition scenario, some organizations were using legacy policy management or legacy claims or billing applications they were using. Now they are in a
Okay.
state of transforming to Guideware. That is one scenario.
Hmm.
Second
Hmm.
scenario, some people were already using Guideware on premise. The one we are using is on premise now. For training purpose, we are using is on premise. You know that because we have
Right.
installed
Yeah.
the software and we have used it, right? So on premise, but they can transform to cloud environment. They are transforming themselves into the cloud side. Means they are moving from Guideware uh, Guideware on-premise services to Guideware cloud environment. So generally, Guideware XML is kind of legacy tool, majorly used to define all the defining and as well as managing the structure of the XML data, whatever the kind of XML files that we are using for different data models, etc. So that majorly it is being used. So from a developer perspective, whenever we want to manage all that, so we want to create different custom XML models, majorly to manage any necessary data subsets for any kind of integrations, right? So for that, generally this GX model is being used. Now, whenever we try to understand about these uh, GX models, first of all, we must be knowing about what are the integration views that we have. Okay, so that is important. Please make a note. When we are working on GX model,
Okay.
when we are working on, because majorly from the integration point of view, I'm referring this, not from the configuration point of view. Remember that point. Okay,
Hmm.
because from the integration, because we are integrating from one system to another system, that's how it works. So in that grounds I'm saying all that. Okay, when we are working on Guidewire GX model, which has which has
Hmm.
which has which has largely integration views, which are involved, which are involved whatever I'm explaining now, everything part of Guidewire integration basic. Okay, do remember it. Again, don't confuse.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not
Hmm.
talking
Hmm.
about configuration, I'm talking about Guidewire integration point of view, the one which I'm explaining. Okay, so
Yes.
Guidewire
Yes.
integration view involves in defining two components, because if you remember when I showed you Guidewire Developer Studio in the beginning of the session, when it comes to the integration point of view, I have told you two things. One is about mapping, second is a schema. You know that. Okay. So we need to
Right.
create schema file, right? So we need to create a mapping file also. So for that, you
Can you
also
repeat
require
this
to,
last sentence?
sorry,
Can you repeat the last sentence?
integration.
Yes, when we
Uh,
are working on Guidewire GX model,
hmm,
which has large integration.
integration involves
Okay.
integration. Otherwise, integration view involves
Yes, integration view involves
defining two components. Defining
defining
two
two
components, because if you remember in the beginning I told you, again I'm repeating the same point what I told you just now, because
components.
whenever we are working on integration, so there are two things. One is about the schema, second about the mapping. Okay, so if you want to generate mapping or schemas, we need to have XML and JSON payloads to be created. That is important. Okay, in that regard,
Right.
so there are two components are there. First one is called schema, write down schema.
Hmm.
Second is a mapping.
Okay.
First one is it's all JSON payloads. We use JSON payloads here in the Developer Studio. I will tell you, because when I start the Guidewire integration, I will tell you that. Okay, that I will tell
Hmm.
you. Two components. One is schema. Second is mapping. What
Okay.
is schema? Schema is all about. It's a JSON file. It's a JSON file.
Okay.
It's a JSON file defines the required data structure. Defines required data structure. Means whatever the required data structure is needed. Okay, so that to define that this JSML file is, that is called schema. Okay, schemas are based on like JSON files, like what are the structure of the data, right? So required the structure of the data, if you want to see the hierarchy and all. So everything is called schema. Okay, that is one component. So the reason why JSON payload has to be created even for schemas also, that is needed. Okay, second one, mapping. Mapping.
Okay.
Uh, mapping under mapping, JSON file. Otherwise, write down in this way. Okay, mapping means JSON file,
Hmm.
which majorly you can write down this way. I'm simplifying. Okay, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking and I want to simplify my point.
Got it. Yeah.
Oh, at the time of entry, it is easy for you to read and study, because every time going through
Right.
video and
Yeah.
practically
Yeah.
won't be
Right.
possible in all levels. Okay, it's a kind
Right.
of JSON file which maps the
Hmm.
Guidewire entity fields, which maps the Guidewire entity fields to the defined schema. Guidewire entity fields to the defined schema. Right. So these are the two basic, generally two components that you can see in integration views whenever we are working on the Guidewire integration. I'll give an example to you. Let's say integration where we are in the insurance company. So I will give an explanation from the insurance company point of view. So
Yeah.
we got some information because customer has submitted a commercial auto application. Okay, customer has submitted. He has given all the vehicle details was provided by the customer. At the same time, he has given all the driver details, etc. Okay. Now, how do you identify the vehicle details? You will be identifying the vehicle details based on the MVR details. Yes, MVR. MVR means motor vehicle record. Motor vehicle record, the chassis number, engine number. Based on that, you will be knowing about when the vehicle is manufactured, how old the vehicle is, what type of vehicle is this, is there any kind of modifications were done earlier or not, is there any kind of accidents that was taken place for this, everything you, because it's a centralized system. Generally it's a centralized system where it centralizes all the data, so that if you can access the MVR record, so that you will be knowing about the condition of the particular vehicle, so that being an insurance company we can cross check whether the customer given the required actual details or not, right? So because as an insurance company, before we are saying yes, so we have to verify, right. So
Correct.
what is
Correct.
required, so based on the MVR records we have to access this from the required external systems. So for that, what is needed, you need integration. Yes sir, right? We need integration. So you are integrating it and you are accessing the information from the system. So all the medical, all the motor vehicle records, everything that we can access it. So that is one example. Second example, you want to, because driver details were submitted, wherein driver license ID number is given. So you want to know how many, is there any traffic violations were happened on the vehicle driving on that particular driving license in last 3 years? Is there any kind of suspension of the driver license happened earlier or not? Is there any kind of accident history, everything you know, so that you will be knowing about the driver condition. If it is more, usually if it is more than one or two or three, generally what we do automatically, we consider this as a high risk vehicle or high risk driver. For that reason only all these is needed. So for that, what is required, you need to integrate with some external systems, so that you can access the data of the information whatever is required before you are moving further. Understood now?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yes.
So this is where generally for that what is required, it's always important for us to define two different components. One is about the schema and second is about the mapping. Okay, these are the two things as required. So for that reason only, what we do, we generally generate the system APIs, system integrations we generate. In this system integration, whenever we are generating, we use RESTful API, because whatever the methods are required, etc., will be used, or else even message queues, even batch processings, etc., everything that can be used by us. So that's a different story. I'll explain that later. So
Yeah.
when we are working on this Guidewire GX data model, right? So because which is a legacy kind of tool and all. So whatever the components that we want to define under the integration views and all components, one is about the schema. You need to create a schema first under the developer studio that we have to perform. Second, we need to create some mapping also. Mapping files should be created so that XML or JSON payloads can be created so that it can be integrated further, so that you can access the information, whatever the required information that is to be required for us to access. So we can access all that. So when we are working on the technical design of the application under the Guidewire point of view, GX data model is one thing. Okay, GX data model is something which we should be knowing with. Okay, because the reason why before
Mm.
this, if you remember, I have already explained about what data model is all about. What are the different things I have explained about entities. I discussed about the type list, right? So this is all something I have covered in the previous. Uh, I have covered in the previous sessions, if you remember closely.
Yes.
So
Yes.
all that I had told you. So this is all about the GX data models. Is all majorly of about. Next, Gosu code. Gosu code anyway, because whenever you want to write, so you need to have a Gosu code for sure. You need to have all the Gosu programming code is required. So that code, if there is any new code, if you want to generate, so we will be generating the new code. Otherwise, if you want to create any kind of new code, etc., we can create a new code accordingly. That's a different story that we can do it later. So that, because making changes on the existing one, okay, because there are predefined already goes to because application, fortunate enough, Guidewire application is there, okay. What are the features, what are the functionalities or the user interfaces for everything, whatever the required code is already available in the developer studio, okay. We are not going to require to write a new thing unless you are coming up with new requirement, we have to write. Otherwise, the existing code understanding is important, gosu code is important.
Hmm.
At the same time,
Right.
making necessary changes on the particular gosu code when it is required is also important, being a Guidewire developer. Okay, these are the two things. Third, about system integration, I already just now I have told you, because we need to integrate with policy center, need to integrate it with billing system, or it can be with any claim system, or policy center, we need to access the motor vehicle records of the particular vehicle, so that you will be knowing about the condition of the vehicle, or else you will be knowing about the condition of the what we call condition of the uh, driver details, right? So driver accident
Driver
history,
details.
right?
Yeah.
So that automatically, when you are making changes, when you are giving instructions, because we have already discussed about how to write underwriting rules, etc. If you remember in the previous sessions, we have covered all that. So based on the underwriting rule, what we have, what written, what will happen when there is an input where driver details were mentioned as driving, there is a traffic violation history where we have identified as to, automatically system will detect and it will be considered as a high risk driver, and immediately that application will be forwarded to the underwriting team. Underwriting company, underwriting individual can be a part of the insurance company, or it can be a third party companies. Automatically those people will access it, whether this application can be accessed by a procedure further or not. If not, if you are not proceeding, like if you are proceeding, what should be the premium, right? So because higher premium, because high risk, higher premium.
Hmm.
Sometimes there
Hmm.
is a condition where application can be rejected on some grounds, because if there is any rejection, automatically we have to provide all the information on what grounds we have rejected the application, etc. This is all happens. So for that, this integration is also required. So this is also generally part of technical designing. It's not only about the functional part, technical design part, the system integration is something which majorly this is used for. Understood now? Got it?
Right.
Next, about
Right.
the
Yeah.
batch processing, the security is optional because we don't focus more on the security part. But of course, batch processing, batch jobs, and logging, monitoring, and all. So this part I'll be covering in the next session.